Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back as always. Huge massive thank you for the support, really do appreciate it. So today coming back with the winter warmers collection, part of the Hunkydory blockbuster, and this time I've got the religious one, which is the Star of Wonder. So you've got these beautiful sort of arched toppers. You've got three sort of really quite big ones. You've got the smaller one with the kings on. You've got three sort of sentiments. You've got the "O Come, Let Us Adore Him," Christmas blessings, I know Star of Wonder, Star of Night, blah 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 blah. Then you've got your printed cardstock, and you've got your foiled cardstock. Again, it's got this beautiful sort of engraved foiling on, very expensive looking. And then you've got your two inserts to match. So for the first card today, I thought I'd do something that I haven't done before. So it is a new sort of card style, but all the ingredients of it are things that we've done before, so it should be, touch wood, it should be really easy. Okay, so the only thing that I hate about this card is that it takes pretty much two pieces of the 6x12, so that means we have to do more matting and layering. Okay, let me just pop one of those to the side for a second, because we will need to cut that up and then score it. But for this first one, we're just going to do the scores as if we're doing an easel card. So we're scoring at 3 and at 6. And then if that wants to fold over nicely for me. Okay, and I'll pop that to the side. I won't do my burnishing down yet because I've got to do more scoring in a minute. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and from this piece of card, so this is the second piece of 6x12, I'm going to take a 6-inch piece because that is going to go on the front of my easel card, and then I need to cut this second piece to 4 inches long. So we have got a little bit left over if we need a little something to cut out there or something later on, but not for this card immediately anyway. Okay, so with this piece that we have cut at 4x6, we're going to put the short end at the top, so we've got the 1 to 4 at the top, and I'm going to score 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5 and 3.5. That should give you a half, then a 1 inch space, another 1 inch space, another 1 inch space, and then another 1/2 inch. So these 1/2 inch ones are going to be our tabs. So what I'll do before I do any more, let me grab that little burnishing tool. I'm going to come along and just give these, actually I'll just turn that way, just slightly whiter on that side. Give those a really good burnish down. So here's barking. I think somebody's knocking at the door because I've made a little rat-a-tat-tat noise. Okay, so that is what we are making out of that little tube. This one we don't need to do anything with, that's just going to go straight on top. And then this one we're going to fold over to make the easel, because that is how this card is made. So we have our easel, and this piece is going to go directly onto the top. Okay, so I think, no, I'm not going to do this. Where am I? Yeah, let's do the assembling first of all. So for the top of this card, I'm going to use, so I've got the two glues I always use, the Cloud Tacky in this white one and Cloud All Purpose. And what I'm going to do is just pop some All Purpose all over the middle there. Sorry, there's a little string, you probably can't see it. And then a little bit of tacky in those corners. And all I'm going to do is line this up flush with that bottom piece. Just make sure it stays flush, and that means when we fold that up, we're going to have that whole piece there. Okay, so that is that one there. Now we want to make sure that doesn't move, so we'll give that a couple of seconds just to go off. And then while it's doing that, we'll grab some red liner tape. You can do this with just your tacky glue as long as you give it a good chance to sort of stick. I'm going to be using both this red liner tape and the tacky glue. The tacky glue is going to make sure that stays glued forever. And this is the strongest tape that we have in my crafty arsenal. And that's going to make sure that sticks straight away. Okay. And what I want to do is, let's start with this one here. So I'm just taking one side off, like I said, a little bit of PVA tacky glue all the way along. I'm going to straighten that out with my fold at the bottom, so you can see that's where the glue is. And then I'm just going to come up, I think I'm going to come up about 1/2 inch from the bottom. And hopefully we've got that nice and straight. And then what I'm going to do is fold that down flat, so we've got 2 of the 1 inch pieces there. Take that sticky off. A little bit of this PVA glue, tacky glue, I don't know why I've decided to call it that today. And if I squash that flat, there we go. So we've got those 2 pieces there, and then that's going to pop up into the perfect box. So our card will stand like that. Okay, so that's, you can see how that's going to go. Okay, what I'm going to do is just go along this here with my foam folder again. Hopefully that should fit a little powder. Now if you didn't want to do this quite as high, maybe you want to do 1/2 inch box, you could do that. You would just need to do a piece that would be well, what I would say is maybe go, I would still have the inch cross, and I would change these 2 sides to 1/2 inch, so you would still have 1, 2, it would be 3 inches, and then you would be scoring at 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Let me just write this down, otherwise I will. Right, so you've got your box, and this is going onto your card. So we know those are 1/2 inch, those are 1/2 inch, and that's 1 inch. Okay, so you would be 1, 2, 3 inches. So you would score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, 2.5 inch. And then you would get your half, 1, no, half, and then half, 1, and then half, and then half. Okay, because these ones here will be underneath the same way those ones are. So that would still give you 1 inch. So that was what that paper was obviously meant to be. Come in handy for me to scribble on. Okay, so this is our card. So now we can start to think about how we are going to be creating our mats and layers for it. So let me grab my trimmer, and I'm going to grab 2 pieces of gold card. So I'm going to do this mat first of all, because that one's the simplest, and it's going to be 2 notches under the 2. That's not from there, so let's grab one that is from there. It probably would be alright, but they had different backs, and I always think it's going to be, if I'm working with the same thing for both, then it's one less thing that can go wrong. Okay, so that must have come out of an A4 piece, because I have been trying to use some up with the cards that I do off screen as part of my challenge. Okay, so 2 notches under the 6, and then that's going to fit nicely on there. Okay, let's pop that underneath. Now this one here, I'm going to have to measure that. Obviously it's going to be 6 across. I think it's probably going to be about 4 inches. So I've actually put it down there at just under 4.5. So if I go to 3 notches under 4.5 and take 2 notches off that 6, and then that bit should fit into there quite nicely, and on there I'm going to put the insert. Okay, and then we've got this little piece here, which I think is going to be about 1/2 inch. That's what I aimed for, wasn't it? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just grab this little piece that I've left over, and I'm going to take it to 2 notches under 1/2 inch, and I'm probably not even going to mat on top of that any more than that. I'm just going to leave that like so. I might come in with something later on if I change my mind, but at the moment I'm thinking that looks all right. Okay, so oh, the other thing, there is more I need to do. Nearly forgot. So these bits here need to be done as well. So they are 1 inch, and I'm only doing the 2 front ones, so the front and the side. So they will need to be 2 notches under the one. Let's just hope you stay nice and still. And I think that should be 2 notches under the 6. Let's just check you are fitting nicely there. And hopefully I should have a little off piece down here. Here we go, come here. And this is why I save all my little bits to a certain extent. After a while I do throw some away. So again, we're going to 2 notches under the 1 and 2 notches under the 6. And that one will go onto the front of there. Okay, nearly forgot those layers. That could have been awkward. Okay, so for the top bit here, I'm going to be using this cardstock. So I need to cut this at 5 3/4 and 5 3/4. And I can't help having that big piece there. That should fit quite nicely onto our mat for there. That one we said we are doing with our insert. And then for this next piece, for these 2 pieces here, what I'm going to do is take the border from this one. So it's not going to affect too much here because we've still got, actually it will affect it because we're going that way. Let's change it to the blue. Let's change it to the blue. And what I'm going to do is cut this at 5 3/4 because I'm probably going to make a 6 by 6 card out of it. And then I'm going to take from the long ways, I'm going to take 2 pieces of a 3/4 inch. I need to, it should be cut to size. Thinking about the length then, but we should be alright with the length. So, and obviously these cardstocks are all toned together, so that's perfectly fine. That's that one. And then what I'm going to do, what did I do that at? Did that there. So let's take a super skinny little bit, just in case I decide to add that onto there. And that was just a couple of notches, and we might match that up. And obviously that is going to be a card base probably for the next card. Right, okay, so that's that. Then I need to bring in the little guillotine, and I'm going to grab, I don't think I want the blue one, I think I want the sort of paler one. And I'm going to cut this to 5 3/4 because that's the length we need it to go that way. Again, we've got another piece for another day. And then we went to 4 1/2. We took some off. Let's try there. We might have to just take another little bit off. Yeah, just one more notch. There we go. I wasn't sure, so I thought I'll layer on the side of caution and just take that piece. So this one, obviously it depends on where you put that little bridge is going to be on how big this piece is there. So just measure whatever it is and take 2 notches off. of each layer, if you're copying what I'm doing. If you are doing this out of a gold mirror paper or some other kind of patterned paper, you might want to miss out one of these layers and just you know, make do without. Okay, but that's a decision for you to make. We like to give you lots of choices, and obviously, like I say, sorry, excuse me, with this one, you could come in and emboss that. You could also come in with a bit of ribbon. In two minds, I really would like to put a bit of navy ribbon on there, so we might do that. Let me just grab, I know I've got a piece here to the side of me, so let's come in with it, because this is going to be an adult's card, with it being quite religious. I was actually thinking of my sister that I live with, because obviously she is very Catholic. I keep upsetting her by cooking meat on Friday, and she still eats it, mind you, but she just complains about it because they're not supposed to. She's not supposed to eat meat on Friday. It's supposed to be meat-free day. It's supposed to be fish. Okay, right. So let's do some assembling. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this onto here, and we'll get our front piece sort of settling in, because obviously we're going to be doing some mounting of our topper onto that in a minute. So that is going to go onto there at the top. Just move that over a little bit. I'm hoping that's not going to fall down the back now. Just making sure that's nice and even. And then I just like to take a little bit of this red liner tape when I can find the end. And there we go. I'm trying not to cut my fingers off. And, just give that a little burnish down. So I got I got a delivery yesterday and I got a delivery today. Yesterday wasn't, it's not Hunkydory bits this time. Yesterday was my Best Press Society plate and mask from Stampin'. So I'm just popping those onto there, which is gorgeous. If you don't buy it for the tree, you can buy it for the sentiments, because look how gorgeous that is. That's foiled, so I don't tend to print with them, I tend to foil, but look at that, nice. And they look stunning. I've been using the different colour foils on the tree and that, and oh my god, you'll see some. Hopefully I'm going to put some cards up tomorrow. I've done all the foiling. I was inking it with a stencil today, so I'm hopefully going to put some bits up tomorrow for it. Okay, now the beauty of this card is obviously that's still going to fold flat. It is going to be quite chunky, so you'd have to have a sort of slightly oversized envelope. I think the ones I buy are 164mm from the Envelope People, the Envelope Company, Envelope People, something like that. And they're only about 8p an envelope. And I think the delivery charge is about £2.50 no matter what you buy. And the cello envelopes, if you need any cello envelopes, I think they're about 3 or 4p if you're going for the normal ones. I think they're about 8p if you want the recyclable ones. So that's the place to be at the minute. That's that's a quite good price on them. That's where I get my envelopes from, because obviously I buy the card separately. Okay, so we've got the front of our card. We'll put it around the right way, and then we can just pop that on the top like so. Okay, and then I'm going to fold that back. We're going to let that sit, and we can work on these insides and do that in the meantime. Okay, so because I'm working on paper here, I've said before I don't like using the tacky glue on it because it has got that water content to it. So I use a Crafter's Companion tape pen, dotty tape pen, because that's the one I've got. If I had the solid one, I'd use the solid one. But it just so happens Mum bought a load of the dotty ones, because for die cuts mainly. I know Hunkydory have got their own I haven't had a chance to, well, I don't think I'll be running out of those for a while because I only use it for paper. But when I do run out, then obviously I'm going to give the Hunkydory ones a go because I don't think they're a bad price either. Okay, so now we can pop this in, and our card still has that insert, so it's still a normal card, which you know, for me, like sort of trying to do them for charity is what I'm aiming to do, trying to make it easy, because you know, not everybody comes from the crafting world. I do think crafting people tend to buy more cards at card fairs, just from my experience, but yeah, you know, if it's a normal person, they may not know how to even pop this card up, which can be a problem. You can put little, you know, you get a little print a little instruction and put it inside, but actually most of the cards that I make off screen for the charity are just normal 10-fold cards, so there's not that many for them to have to worry about. Okay, so we're popping that on. Again, we're going on to the cardstock, so we can use both our glues again. And there. Again, like I say, I've left this plain, but you could come in with any kind of patterned embossing folder or mask. There we go. Give that a good press down. Slightly wider at one end, but we'll hide that with our sentiment. I think that's the trouble when you're cutting smaller pieces on any trimmer, because you've got nowhere to hold it. That's why sometimes I do like to just pop a little bit of sticky tape on to hold it in place. Alright, so let's just get that one right, and then this one go on to there. Again, just a little bit of tacky glue in the corners just to make that stick a little faster. That's looking quite smart as it is. If you wanted to, you could put this box right to the end and make it easier for yourself and have it just as a 5x6 insert there. I just thought it might look a little nicer with a little bit of trim here, and also what was the other thing I was thinking about? It was, oh, I wanted it to stand up a little bit prouder, a little bit further forward, because obviously if this is right at the end, then your card is going to be on more of a sort of incline, if you know what I mean. Hard to put my hand in the right place, but I'll show you what I mean when I put the card up in a minute. I'll pop this on, and then actually that is just a little long. Let's just pop that off. I'm not going to put it back through the trimmer. Just going to take that a little bit off and then pop it straight back down. Hopefully it's going to behave itself. That's a bit better, I think. And then this bit hopefully should fit a little bit better. Could have done with being a bit smaller again. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just take, did I have, so if you do hear a crash, I have got quite a stash of things by the side of me today. So this is just a bit of kitchen roll, and just because it's that PVA glue on the edge, that tacky glue, I give that a press down, and this is decided to come off now. Behave yourself. Stay still. Okay, we'll give that a moment, and what I can do is put this over and bring the topper out. So the topper I did think would be the biggest one, which is our Three Wise Men. And for the sentiment, think we will go with maybe "Oh Come Let Us Adore Him." Yeah, because I want the yellow and the blue. So that's going to go on there somehow. So, how are you doing? You gluing? You're well done. Okay, so here is our card as it stands. And actually we could put our sentiment on the top if we wanted to. And I may well do that. And have a little look. So this hasn't got any inside frames. This is just the two. So we can't hide or take away one. Just making sure there's no pips sticking out. Okay, so let's have a little look. So when it stood up, it would be like this. Obviously this is going to be down here. We're going to have our little thing on there. I think that's probably going to go just again those little pips being a little bit proud. So I think on the samples I saw there was like a sentiment on here, but to be fair it was a flat one. Maybe if I put that on that side. Just trying to think of ways now to just balance out the two. So if that's in the middle, obviously they'll be layered up. I think that's going to be alright there. And then some gems, maybe some blue gems, or the sepia ones that I got. Okay. Okay, so the computer cut out a little bit. Yesterday, not yesterday, the day before when I finished up, it wanted to update. So I did foolishly say, yeah, go on, update and shut down. And then when I came to it today, it was like blue screen, wouldn't do anything for ages. But it's just cut a bit out. But the only thing it's cut out is basically putting these foam pads on the back. Okay, so that's all you've missed, which is nothing really. It's probably going to make the video better. Right, okay, so let's come and do this little bit of assembling. I need to just take these backs off so you didn't miss all the boring stuff. And yeah, it's annoying when it does that. This is quite an old computer that I'm using because it was Mum's old one. And she updated because it was getting a bit slow, you know, but I sort of wiped it all. Well, I say wiped it, she wiped it, or told me what to do, and then we loaded the thing on for the program on for the camera. And to be fair, it gets a bit slow if I don't take off all the old videos that I do, so I usually put those onto a hard disk. I don't know why I'm saving them, but I have been, so there is like a couple of years worth of videos on there on that hard disk. But yeah, so it does get a bit slow when it gets a bit full, but apart from that it's been quite good. But it's just this update. Sometimes when it does update it goes a bit funny for a little while they sort of get there when it gets used to the actual software they put on. Right, so I'm just popping this on straight into the centre. That was what I decided in the end. Then again with these pads, just popping that off. Like I say, these are the Crafter's Companion ones. And PVA glue. It's just going to make sure they stick and also just give me a little bit of wiggle room time. And obviously I think this will probably end up going in one of those little Hunkydory boxes because that is going to be popping out now. So that's going to fit quite nicely into there. This one we can just go ahead, and I decided I was going to pop this onto, let's put it the right way around so people can read it. come let us adore him. You could have it on the front if you wanted to. And then I don't know if I want to go with some sepia gems, or I've got these like navy ones here. I quite like these. Oops, no, I've cut them around. Let's go there. Let's put those to the side. And I am going to do a little bow as well. So let's just pop those down flat. I'm going to grab my knife, and I think we'll go with 1, 2, 3. And there, I think that's quite, oops, nope, get back there. Quite straight. And then if I take this one from the bottom, I'm going to pop that one and that one there. So that is the gems done. So let's just pop that back, fold that up nicely. And then I'm going to need my little bow maker and another piece of this gorgeous navy ribbon. Shovel that off, and we'll just go ahead and make a little single bow. I have been making more double bows lately, I don't know why. But you're going to go under, yes you are. Just put it nice and tight. Slide that off. And then I can just pull the little legs down. Just a nice little chop. And I don't know if I want to go on the side or on the top. I'll go on the top, I think. So just on this star, just going to grab my reverse tweezers ready. I'm going to pop that on, and then I'm going to pop that onto there. So that will stay on there for around about 10 minutes, and after that time it will be stuck quite nicely. So that is, if I show you the angle of that card, that's the angle. Let's move it a little bit now, let me just get that straight again. And that is that finished card. So I don't know what it's called, you know, it's still just an easel card to me. I'm guessing if you wanted to, you could make this even bigger. So if you made it into sort of a 2-inch box, you could then make an insert to make it for a gift. So then the card would sit up a little higher. I'm guessing you'd have to pop a box to put it in if you wanted to do that. But this one will fold flat like so and go in one of those Hunkydory box envelopes because it's 6x6. So I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for the second card, I'm just going to do one of my normal 6x6 tent folds. So I've just taken one of those 6x12 pieces of cardstock and I've scored it in half. And I'm going to be using this piece of cardstock today, but I want something to break up all that blue. There's two ways I could go about this. So I could cut this in half, maybe just use these lighter pieces, match them up with a piece of ribbon. I could take a smidge off there just for a little bit of effect. But the biggest piece and the easiest piece of cardstock that I'm going to get to be able to use is going to be this off the actual topper sheet. So I'm not going to measure it as such. What I want to do is just eyeball to where just before that gold piece on this topper goes underneath. So you should be able to get a nice clean piece. And there I've got my border. Obviously I'm going to put a little matte layer of gold later on in a minute, but for the second that is what we are doing. So let's bring in a piece of gold mirror and we're going to just take 2 notches off that on 2 sides. Oops, can't pick it up. And again on this side, and that should fit quite nicely onto my front. I always do check it. Well, 9 times out of 10 I check it, and the 10th time it'll be wrong. So this one needs to be 5 3/4. Here again we've got a nice border, maybe in the middle of that other one. And then that one is 2 size, so that should fit quite nicely onto there. Happy with that. Then this bit we've cut off needs to be 5 3/4. And then if I grab, it's bound to be another little piece of gold under here. Yes, there is. Let's see what that is. Let's measure on this side. So I'm just putting the edge on the cut line, and I can see that's 1/2 inch plus 2 notches. So if I do 1/2 inch and 4 notches, which is going to take me to 3/4, hopefully that should be quite a nice border. Hopefully we're using this piece. And then we just need to cut down the length. Let's move. Let me put that piece in the bin before it ends up trying to be stuck to my card. So then this one again, it's going to be 5 3/4, so it should be the same length pretty much. That bit's going under there. Okay, now what I want to do as well, I think, so if I bring in my topper, let's just do a little bit of planning. I think we'll go with this gorgeous little shepherd. And Star of Wonder, let's do that one as well. Star of Light. So thinking possibly about going across the middle, although we could come down the side. I think I like it in the middle. So I hadn't planned this one at all, so could go there, maybe there, some little gems. Okay, so what I want to do as well, just to add a little bit of something else, let's bring in the scoreboard, and I'm going to pop it upside down. So this is 5 3/4. So the middle of it is going to be, it's not going to be 2 3/4, is it? It's going to be, let me do it when we work it out, because otherwise, let me write it on the back of here, it'll be fine. So we've got 5 3/4. So 1/2 of 5 is 2 1/2. 1/2 of 3/4 is going to be 1/4 and 1/8. So it's going to be 2 3/4, which is going to be 6 7/8. So 2 7/8, 2 7/8. So now, does this thing have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8? Yes, it does. So we've got 2 7/8. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this is the notch just before the 3. And then what I'm going to do is just do a couple of lines before that. Maybe, how many have we done there? Hard to see with the bright light. 1 2 3 4 5 and then 6. So 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so we've just got that gentle ribbling, so you're hardly going to see it at all. And then this is going to come over, so the ribbling is going to come over. Just going to a little bit more pressure at the top on here. It's just not quite gone to the edge. Okay, so it's just a little bit of extra detail. You could go all the way along if you wanted to, but I'm just trying to think of easy ways just to make the card a little bit different. Okay, so we're going to come in with our all-purpose glue. Not doing any ribbons. Obviously we'll do some gems, but not any ribbons with this one. And hopefully that ribbling that we've done in the middle, a little bit of embossing, is going to help us find the middle point when we need it in a minute. So let's just make sure that's nice and square. A few screws out of the way, my little shepherd. And again we're going with a 10th fold, just my favourite fold. I think it just makes a really strong card. I find sometimes when I put lots of layers on and I'm doing it as a side fold, it can fall forward. Whereas when you put it as a 10th fold, it does seem to support itself better. Okay, so that's that one there. And then I'm going to come a little bit of all-purpose, a little bit of tacky. Hopefully this is going to glue quite nicely. If you were brave, you could even sorry, excuse me, emboss this, or even have a go at ribbling along there. If you've got the paper crimper, then that would probably be a lot easier. You could even go long ways rather than the same, so that would be horizontally rather than vertically, so you could mix those up. Okay, so that is going to help us big time as well. So again, same glue combination, a little bit of tacky glue to help that stick, especially as soon as we have put that embossing on there. So it's right in the middle of two lines. So we've got two lines at the top, two lines at the bottom, and then our border. Just going to check. Yeah, it's come down just a tad. There we go. Yeah, so it's just on the third line of each one. So let's see. So we're going to come with our guy there. I think we will overlap them slightly. So he needs to be with our little 1mm pads, and I am going to go around and trim this in a second. So this is going to be our sort of slightly quicker card because there's less layers to it, less fuss. Obviously, like I say, you can emboss, you could even spatter with some different products. That, you know, obviously just be aware this isn't a surface that will accept anything that's water. It would need to be something more permanent based. But there are products out there that you can spatter still, and even your sort of gels, you know, if you've got a little stencil with something something Christmassy, or maybe even something like this trellis that matches. Oh, I didn't trim those things. That would have annoyed me. I could just see those pips, and I saw them when I was putting the pads on, but then I forgot about them. Right, so let's pop you on there, my little shepherd. And we'll use these bigger ones again. Actually, let me... Yeah. And pop some glue over, just cut these pads. They've been out in the air for quite a while. I was watching the tennis before this. I don't know if you guys watched the Wimbledon. Yeah, because I know there's quite a few people who message me that are on the other side of the world. But I don't know if you still watch Wimbledon. But there's a very brave young girl in there today. I was rooting for her. She didn't win. But then you could see how much it meant to the other girl. So I was like, oh, bless. I was glad she won in the end. Let's just go up a little bit. So that's going to go onto there. We could go with some Miri gems, I think will be best to really stand out on there. I don't know why more appears on here every time I use them. I certainly don't remember putting them on there, but anyway. There we go. Right. And I think what I'm going to do is just let's grab my little pickup tool. Oh, I don't want them in a row on here. I want to spread them out a little bit. We could actually use some of these squares to guide us. Maybe. So there's sort of like a flower sort of circle-ish, you know, not a true circle pattern on the paper. So I'm going to put some. Maybe we'll go in the centre of there. Use the pattern to guide us a little bit, but not too much. Oh, it's a bit, it's not very shiny. So let's pick another one. That's probably why it's not working, because it's 5 already. So let's go there, and then let's go there. Just move them around until it sort of feels a bit comfortable to my eye. And then I want pop 2 down there. I'm going to pop 1 up here. Yeah, I like that. That is looking good. So I just need to stick them down, like I say, you know, you can emboss them. There is a lovely embossing folder 6x6 that Lisa Horton just released or showed yesterday on her channel with this beautiful script on, and I have to tell you I did order it, so it is on the way to me. I do like her embossing folders. It's a 3D one, so it's going to be really deep, and I think it's going to be perfect for not just Christmas, all year round, you know. So I like a folder like that, that you can use any time of the year. Also got 2 new ones as part of the caboodle. I'll show you those as well. They're really nice. One is nicer than the other, but let's put the lid on there because that is done. Where did I put them? Did I put them in here? Yes, I did. Right, let me just bring the cards in, and I'll show you those. So that one should be okay with the bow now, so we can take that off. So we have got our sort of plain and simple, but we have got that bit of embossing, that line on there, just to add a little bit of something extra to it. And we've salvaged this from our actual topper sheet, so I love doing that. It's something for nothing, perfect. And then obviously we've got our sort of main make, if you like, of the day, which is our sort of a little bit of a showstopper. That's how it stands. It's our easel there onto that box. Let me show you that those embossing folders for the caboodle. So you've got the Hexy Snowflake. This is just the ordinary one, just a normal embossing folder, and then the 3D one is these pine cones and berries, and you can see the embossing on it. It's beautiful. I'd love to work with some clay with those, the 3D ones, and see what comes out of it. I don't know whether you can melt the waxes onto it with it being plastic, and maybe it's a bit too hot, but anyhow, I'm not going to try it because I like those folders too much. Maybe when I've fallen out of love with one, I'll try it. But that's it for today. So it's me chuntering on about nothing. Like I say, I am going to be working. I did put all of the white Christmas cards. I finished working with that set. I've worked every piece in there. And on my Facebook page, or on my Facebook Sybil Jones Concoctions, I have now put a section which is white Christmas cards. So you'll be able to see all of the cards that I made out of that kit. There are a few little odd bits of card left over that I probably could work with the little book, and I think one of the cards I did use the little book with on there, but the cardstock was actually from White Christmas, which is left over. I'm going to do the same with all of the kits, so I'm going to do 2 more videos with this warmest winter, is it? I think it is winter warmers. I'm going to do 2 more videos with this winter warmers, and then I'll work on the rest behind the scenes. Just trying to come up with new ideas for you guys, just to keep it a bit interesting. And every now and then you do see something that sort of sparks your imagination, and you think, oh yeah, it's going to work with that topper. So with these arch toppers, the kind of cards that work really great with it are, you know, obviously an easel card like this, a cutaway card, so where you're cutting away a piece of it. You can have a sort of easel, not like this, where you're just having it coming above. What other cards look great with this? Oh, stepper cards. Stepper cards where you've got that thinner inner piece, you know, especially the little one with the 2 steps on the side. That looks lovely with that in the middle, you know. So those are the kind of cards that work great with these toppers, to be honest with you. These arch shapes. So those are the ones I generally tend to sort of gravitate towards when I've got a topper like this. But that's it for today. So thank you for watching. It's Saturday, isn't it? So I'll be back on Monday with another one from this kit. But until then, have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the tennis if you're watching, and if not, happy crafting. Bye.